y'all, I'm here. Okay, so some of you know me, some of you don't. A lot of people just request me, and I really don't even know who you guys are. But anyways, this is God put something on my heart, and literally, you ever try to procrastinate something and take your time with doing something like, oh God, I'm gonna get around to it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. And today, I felt like I was hit upside the head with a rock or something. I really feel the presence of the Lord around me, and He's very persistent. And you don't put God on hold, is what I'm getting out of the whole situation. So, I was wanting things to be like perfect and have my actual YouTube channel set up completely, and my ideas that I wanted to have. For me, his presentation is everything. But what I'm quickly learning with God is all you do is come as you are, with what you have now, and let that just be it. So I'm actually outside, and he was just like, now. And so I guess so it's now. So my name is Danielle, and what I'm planning on calling my YouTube page, and I will link it eventually, is going to be my corner room with God, where I would just be totally transparent, totally honest, totally authentic to what I am, where I am, my life experiences, and how God pretty much has saved me. And He has been my saving grace in so many ways because of my prior walk of life. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive in. I don't know any other way to do this but to do it. So here we go. So my transparent moment, God saved me, was basically, I've been hearing Him, feeling Him for years, tugging at me. You ever just, like I said, you keep wanting to ignore it. Like you would ignore it, like, okay, God, I'm going to get around to it. And that's kind of like how I am with a lot of things. Like, if I'm not really ready to move, I feel like I'll move when I want to. So I have like this bug of procrastination with me. I honestly do. But God is definitely working that out in me for sure, obviously. So a couple of years back, I would just say for the last 10 years. The last 10 years for me has been really, really hard. I've experienced a lot of loss, people dying that are close to me. There's a lot of things that I just wasn't happy with in my life. And it wasn't just, and I tried to do everything, and you know how you try everything? Let me try this and see if that works to fulfill me. And it was like, I go to school, I get degrees or licenses, whatever you want to call it, and I get to a job and I hate it. Or I'm steady working these 12-hour days at a job that I totally hate, just to pay bills, just to wake up and feel like, God, not another day of this. I'm away from my daughter, I'm away from my family, I'm away from the things that I love. And it was just like I had no peace in my heart. I couldn't find any peace in my heart. I couldn't find any fulfillment in the inside of me. And I've tried relationships. I've tried filling myself up, or what I thought was filling me up, which was really just numbing me. I would indulge in smoking weed, and I don't mean like casually here and there, like just, to get by. I'm talking about like smoking weed was like a lifestyle for me, and it has been since I was 19. I was literally finding myself running from myself all the time, finding anything that I can do to push down the hurt, push down the pain, push down anything in me that I just didn't want to feel. I just did not want to feel the pain that I was literally like being crippled with in the inside. And it was like, the more I try not to feel it, the more I would smoke. I have popped pills before. I have been around the wrong people, wrong company. I am human. I'm just like you. I'm no better than anybody else out here trying to live and find their way, and find that sometimes you get lost. So I was on a lost road for a really long time. From the things that happened to me in my childhood, I didn't have my mom and my father around. And by any means, when I talk about these things, I'm not trying to send hurt towards anyone. I'm just telling my story. So let me just be clear on that. This is all about me and nothing to do with anyone else, because this is my walk. This is my path. This is the life that I chose to live. These are my decisions. These are the things that actually happened to me. I didn't ask for them. Some of them I did, as far as experiences are concerned. So, me not having my mom and my dad is not a jab at them, because everybody has their walk of life, and I'm definitely okay with that. And I love my parents to death. I honestly do. But again, I did not have my mom and my dad growing up. I had my aunties and my grandma who raised me. And I bounced around a little bit from house to house, and that's honest. And did that hurt me? It was like the first form of rejection that I experienced, to not be accepted, or to feel unwanted, rather, by your parents. That does shape a person. It does do something to a person. It did something to me. It hurt me. It did. And so with that, I had like this feeling that I always was trying to find a way to, how do I say? Like, I was trying to find anything to feel that hole in my heart, anything, and a lot of times I often ran to, men, seeking acceptance from that, being really hurt when I was rejected, being rejected and things of that nature, being hurt. I've been with women before. I've done all kinds of things, and it was all because I was always running. I get my heart broke, and I would label myself as a runner for sure. I would run from state to state, honestly and truly. The moment I graduated high school, I was like already out the door, okay? I was everywhere I wanted to be, anywhere to be, where I felt like I was receiving some type of love that wasn't even real love, but you have to learn these things, especially as a young woman growing up, a young lady growing up. You're not really understanding the world. You're just trying to be a part of something. And so I did these things, and all it did was just like, every time I got my heart broke, every time I felt rejected, every time I felt like it was taking pieces of me. It took pieces of me. I'm a naturally kind of a vibrant kind of person. I'm full of life. I like to laugh. I enjoy my family. I enjoy people that I consider to be friends. I'm just that kind of girl. Like, I'm always smiling when you see me. Sometimes I'm quiet, absolutely, but I'm pretty much a happy kind of girl. So, just imagine like a younger, naiver me out here in the world with predators, pretty much, I didn't talk about things that happened to me when I was young, when I was a kid. I didn't even really express anything to anyone about the things that happened to me for a very long time. And really, it was probably about 3 people who knew about the things that happened to me. And again, these things kind of help shape and mold how you look at people, and how I started to kind of like lock away pieces of me and like try to keep people from taking all of me. You know what I mean? Like, every person that chipped at me, that stole from me, that took a piece of my heart, that took my kindness for weakness, that took my love and just ran with it, like all kinds of stuff like that, it made me kind of cold in the inside, and it made it really hard for me to open up as I got into my older years. I'm now 37, and I have a hard time with completely opening my heart. At times I have a hard time with letting my guard down, because I don't trust people. I've been in abusive relationships before. I have definitely had my ass beat before, definitely, by men who try to control you, manipulate you, abuse you. Complete narcissists. And I find myself like falling into things like this, like more than once. So it was things that I kind of accepted, and you have to be careful about that. Things that because at some point you get used to, and it's a sad thing to have to say that, like, oh, you get used to being treated a certain kind of way, oh, you get used to just certain treatment from people, and it really is sad because it diminishes everything that you are in the inside, which is beautiful, right? People like to just take pieces of you until there's nothing left. And so a couple of years ago, I just could not get out of bed without like feeling like I wanted to cry every day. I hated going to work. No fulfillment. I felt like a slave to my lifestyle. I felt like no one saw me, no one understood me, no one could understand the depression that I was literally falling into until something broke. Something completely broke inside of me. You ever get so low to where you feel like, I just don't want to go on any longer. Like, God, you know what? And this is sad but it's my truth and I can own it. You know what I mean? I got to be to a point where I was like, God, make sure you leave somebody here to help my baby, like protect her, like keep her safe. But I just didn't want to be here anymore. I remember crying like, God, you know, if you don't do something and do something fast, I can't be here. Like, I just did not want to. I didn't want to live if life was going to be so depressing, if people were going to be the way that they are. Like, you know, I just could not see past my pain anymore. I just could not do it. And I remember just dropping to my knees like, God, I need you to show up, and I need you to show up like now. Like, if you don't show up, I'm very fearful I'm not going to make it. Like, I was that depressed. My relationship that I was in wasn't helping. The job that I had wasn't helping. The family or friends that I had around wasn't helping. It was nothing that no one could do for me but God. And that is the honest truth. Nobody could help me get rid of this depressing sadness feeling that I just could not seem to overcome. That was like literally burying me. And so it was just like, God's how to doing. Be careful what you pray for, because when God shows up, oh my God, he shows up, and it shows up big. And it's so subtle, and sometimes like I didn't even realize it. Like, for real, oh my goodness, just to backtrack a second, I had so much anxiety, you guys. Like, literally, I would have heart palpitations. I'm talking about, I would be scared to come outside. It got to be so bad I didn't even want my daughter outside. I didn't trust people so much. I didn't even want to go to the grocery store to go grocery shopping. I had to have my boyfriend do the grocery shopping. Like, literally, when I wanted to go shopping, I would get literally in the car and get to the parking lot and be terrified to get out of the car. I'm talking about terrified, y'all. I'm talking about, like, I would pull up and sit in the parking lot and just sit there, and then I'll pull off like I can't get out the car. Anxiety that just shot through the roof, like fear. The devil had me at such a low point where I just felt fearful for everything. I didn't trust anybody. I didn't even trust myself, you know, because I felt like I always end up hurting myself. I was like, am I intentionally hurting myself? Am I just so used to this pain? Am I just so okay with just accepting the things that come to me? Like, you know, men who just take, and, you know, having low self-esteem, even not even wanting to look in the mirror, not being happy with what I saw looking back at me. It was like just utter disgust in every direction, you guys. When I tell you the low point of how I felt before I even got to the point of like, God, just take me in my sleep. Just don't even wake me up. I'm ready to come now. Like, before I even reached that point, like I'm telling you, you know, realizing the things that you accept and with the people around you. Men who cheat on you, who lie to you, who, you know, all those pieces that they just chip away at you. Friends that are supposed to be your friends that talk about you. Family that turn their back on you. You know what I mean? Like in every corner, it was just like, am I surrounded by a bunch of, I just felt like alone. It was the most alonest feeling. I can never even describe to you how alone I felt. And so it was just like, for me, I didn't want to smoke anymore. It was like God was moving little things. I was smoking cigarettes. I was smoking weed every day. I'm talking about I wake up and smoke, go to sleep before I smoke, lunch break, snack break, break. In the middle of I wake up out my sleep, I already got a blunt rolled. You know, it was just like ridiculous. I was high. Anytime you saw me, guaranteed I was high. I don't care. I went to work high. I was a functioning weed. I don't even know what you call it. Burnt out weed head. I don't know what you call it, but I was that for sure. I would roll up at a drop of a dime. I could roll up and drive without even needing my damn hands to drive, hold the steering wheel, okay? I'm talking about weed was what I used to numb myself. And then God one day said to me, how much do you really need to smoke? Like, how high are you trying to be? And I'm like, in my mind, shoot, as high as I can get. I don't want to feel nothing. And God said, that's your problem. That's your problem. You need to stop numbing the pain and allow yourself to feel the pain so you can go through it and grow through it. And I'm like, feel this pain? I felt like I would erupt, like I would die just feeling it. You know what I mean? And it was like subtlety. The way God moved was in subtle. It wasn't all even at once. It was like one day I didn't want to smoke cigarettes anymore. Out of nowhere. It was like I prayed on it, and then it was like a day where it was just like, matter of fact, it was New Year's Eve. I remember the day. As a matter of fact, the night. I was at some club. I think it was my sister's club. Yep, it was my sister's club. And I was standing outside with my boyfriend at the time, and my brother, and a couple other people. And I remember us standing outside, and I was just looking at the cigarette, and I was like, I don't want to smoke this no more. I don't want to do this anymore. And right at midnight, I tossed that cigarette, and I never looked back. That was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Then it was, now I'm not gonna lie, it's been a process, because in the process, the devil, always remember, the devil is Roman, right? He's always looking for, because he doesn't want you to get to your glory. The devil doesn't want you to get what God has for you. So he will come at you in all kinds of ways. And then remember, the devil don't require you to change. He just makes it easy for you to just go along with the things that look good for you, right? The narrow path is hard. It is a process. And I did get lost along the way. This wasn't like an overnight thing. This was literally, God worked on me minute by minute, second by second, hour by hour, day by day. Second by second, like literally. He has been working on me. I got lost into the occult life. And I don't know if some of you know what that is, but I was heavily into tarot cards, tarot reading, learning the spiritual world, learning about other deities, Oshun and Goddess Yemaye, Isis, all of those, right? Those are idols. That's not God, and that is of the devil. That is not God. And I had to learn that the hard way. And God will allow things to happen to you. The funny thing, and it's not really funny, but it is a real thing. God will allow the devil to tempt you. God will allow the bad things to come to you, because you have a choice. We all have free will, right? We all have free will. We all have a choice to do what's right or do what's wrong, or go the easy path or through the narrow path that's more difficult, that's more disciplined, that's more, it requires you to change and to do some self-reflection and to do some seeking of God. Like, you literally have to seek God. You have to look for him. You have to talk to him. You have to make him your best friend. You have to speak to him. You have to meditate on the word. You have to, because this world will teach you its ways, and it is not of God. And I don't know about you, but I want to get into that kingdom of heaven, and I'm not going to have my soul compromised. And what I did not realize when I was dabbling into the occult, and they make it feel like, you know, like it's okay, and it wasn't. And it was like God kept coming to me, and it was so crazy. I became clairaudience, and I was able to hear things, feel things, see things. But, you know, those doors was opening because, you know, how do I say this? That's what I guess I was worshiping at that time. You know what I'm saying? But God works through everything, and God never left my side. And so it was just like, when he told me and delivered me out of the occult, because I believed in God. The funniest thing was, I would even call God in when I'm doing my readings. Like when I would do tarot readings for people and myself, I would even call God into my readings. Like, you know, gods, archangels, all of that, right? So funny, because God, when I actually kept getting these messages that God was sending me, right? And it was like, every time I went to go start my YouTube channel, like to start my readings and stuff, like to literally go all the way in with it, God would stop me. He would stop me.